Hello, today we will discuss major scale tone tendencies. So again, be sure you checked out the previous video on um, tone stability. Otherwise, it's going to be a little hard for you to understand this lesson. All right. So assuming you have done that, let's dive into the lesson. All right. So major scale tone tendencies. All right. So let's do a quick recap. So for a major scale, for example, C major, you have a view not so stable tones, all right, and you have the major second, perfect fourth, and major seventh as the dissonant tones. But the rest of them are pretty stable. The most stable ones would be the root, and then the fifth, the perfect octave. The third and sixth, they're all right, they're stable enough, but not as stable as the root, fifth, and the eighth. Perfect octave, all right. So we will take a look at the perfect fourth first. All right. So the fourth has a very strong tendency to resolve to the third. Okay, let's take a look at that one. I mean, take a listen to that one first. All right. So what we are trying to express here is really something like this. Okay, so let's play C major scale. All right. So that's your fourth degree. That's your fourth degree. All right. Do, fa, C, F. Do, fa. That's a really dissonant sound. It resolves to the third, a very stable interval. So it is one of the most fundamental movements in the major scale. So that's something to really, I think that's something worth memorizing, definitely. So the fourth wants to resolve to third, and that's what we are trying to say here. From this interval to this interval. So you have to get used to this sound. Fa, dissonant, mi, stable, all right, consonant. So that's one of the most important movements that you should know. All right. So that's the first one here. The fourth wants to resolve to the third, major third here. All right. So one more thing. Half steps attract. So half steps. Well, let's not worry about grammar here. Okay. Half step attracts. Okay. So what we are saying is, you see, check out this half step here. What we're trying to express again here is for half steps. You can kind of think about it this way. The F is attracted to the E because they are really close. So you can kind of think of the attraction among, objects in the real world. So the closer they are, the more they would be attracted to each other, just like planets, okay? Attracting each other. They have this pull, this gravitational pull between them. So you can kind of imagine that among notes. Since these two are only half step apart, we have a very specific direction that we want to look at. So F really wants to go to the E, okay? So again, one more time. Okay, one of the most important sounds in music. And when we get to harmony, we will look at more advanced ones, but for now, let's stick with these simple tendencies, okay? And these are really the building blocks of harmony. All right, so you see I use a solid line here, and I have a dotted line here. The fourth also can resolve up to the fifth, so you can go like this. That one's fine too, but less strong than... Okay, let me zoom out. All right, and let's see if that's acceptable. Let me just zoom out a little bit. All right. So bum, bum. All right. That one's fine. This one's stronger. So you see I didn't use the word better because what is better is really subjective. Depends on the genre. It depends on the listener. Depends on what the composer is trying to achieve. All right. So less strong. Okay, a good addition to our bag of tools, harmonic tools. Okay. All right, so quickly moving on to the 7. The 7 wants to resolve up to the perfect octave. So when you take a listen to this, C major again, of course. This one is pretty dissonant, right? That one, it's very satisfying. So the major 7 resolves up to the perfect octave. It means that we're releasing the tension here by moving from the major 7th to the octave. All right. Another way to do it, dotted line, so less strong resolution. The 7th can also resolve to the 6th. Okay, so in jazz, often we will end on a C major. For example, if you have a C major 7 chord, and we will worry about chords later in the harmony section. For now, just simply focus on this degree here. You will hear a C major 6 coming right after the major 7 chord. Okay, so that would reduce the tension in this chord. And if I remove the 3rd. All right. So that's what we're talking about here. We're trying to reduce the tension in an interval. We're trying to go to a place where the energy is less. Okay. We're releasing tension. All right. So the 7th resolves up to the perfect 8th. That's a very strong resolution. And you can also resolve down to the major 6th, which is less strong, a weaker resolution. Okay, the major 2nd. One typical way. The major 2nd wants to resolve down to the root. All right, so that's a pretty strong resolution. Another way to do it is you can resolve up to the 3rd, which is less strong. But you see that pretty often in music as well, in all kinds of music. All right, so that's your 3-tone tendency here. So 4th, 7th, and the major 2nd. We got 2 more. So, all right, have them down. We got 2 more. The 6th. Well, let's come back here. The 6th is a semi-stable tone. You can imagine that this is a stable tone, but if we want to resolve that, we can also do it. Okay, it resolves to the 5th. All right, so sorry, do la, do so. Okay, so root 5th really stable. Root 6th not so much, but stable enough that if we want to stay here, for example in jazz, we can pretty much stay here. Alright, in classical music probably you won't hear that as often as in jazz music. So la, so. Alright. So that's your tone tendency for the 6th. Okay, finally. Hey, we got our 5th here. So you might be thinking, hey, didn't you say the 5th is a stable tone? Yes, I did. But interestingly, we can also resolve that to the root. And so do so is really stable. Though, we can also do that. So just for now, you kind of just have to keep in mind that, hey, 1/5 is good on its own, but if you want to, the 5th can also go to the root. So, do, or you can do it like that. So, do, so, do. So usually for bass movement, you will hear that pretty often, and we will discuss that very soon. So, do. It is a very satisfying chord, a bass movement used a lot in different kinds of chord progressions. Okay, so do. All right. So one way you can reason about it is it further reduces the energy here to. All right. So this one is good enough. Here, even better. All right. So it has this dual functionality where you can just first of all you can stay here, or if you want to, you can go back to the C. All right. All right. So in order to quickly determine the resolution of the fifth, you can just count up a fourth, which is my preferred way. So definitely you can still count down a fifth, which I like less. Okay, so I always just count up. For example, if I have a G note and I want to determine the resolution, I would just count up a fourth, G, A, B, C. All right, for example, in an example, let's say you are in let's say you are given a D note, you want to find the, you want to resolve it to the root. So you just go up a fourth, D, E, F, G. All right, something like that. Another term that I want to, well, not exactly an official term, this kind of resolution is like the gravity in music, the going up a fourth kind of bass movement. All right. It's very natural in music. It's something that happens very often. So it's something that is worth memorizing. All right, let's do a quick recap of this video. We have a C major scale here. Let's label the not so stable tone. We have D, F, and B as our unstable tones. Hence, the rest would be quite stable. Okay, so D wants to, well, let's look at F first, actually. F really wants to resolve to the E, hence a solid line. F to G, a dotted line, because it is a less strong resolution. Let's look at B. B wants to resolve up to perfect octave, and you can also do a dotted line to the major sixth. All right. D, you can resolve that to the C note, or you can go to the E like that. So there's one more thing. The G, you can stay put, or you can go back to C. Alright, so that should summarize what we discussed in this video. In the next video, we will do a few exercises just like this one to help solidify the idea. So I will see you in the next video.